All In is out, All Out is almost in, and I don't know what this show is all about, but let's talk about it anyway. I'm Charles Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from the State Farm Center in Champaign, Illinois. It was a Champaign supernova of not a lot of people in a 15,000 seat, nice dome arena. I mean, really, I've seen pictures of that arena. Looks pretty goddamn cool. I would like to have seen it at least half full. I know that I've harped on this, and I don't care if people get upset, but if you're not going to be able to draw at least a third of the capacity of the arena you're running, don't fucking run it. I don't care what company you are. God damn it, Tony needs to get better marketing, better promotion. Maybe he just needs to hand the book to somebody else because, me oh my, down on the bayou, I know that All In was a big goddamn deal. They still had 50,000 plus in Wembley Stadium. They're going to go back there in a couple years. They're going to go back to London for Forbidden Door, and All Out is in a couple weeks. And look, Chicago, stronghold for AEW. I really do hope it's going to be a good show. They put a couple pieces together for some of the matches, but man, Bryan Danielson is on his last legs as far as a full-time performer. He's probably only going to make occasional shots. He's going to be getting neck surgery at some point and probably is going to be out for the majority of 2025, even if he wants to make occasional indie shots or the occasional return in AEW. I mean, and Jack fucking Perry, this little freaking malnourished pipsqueak that doesn't even look like he could punch through a piece of wet paper, that wants to use broken glass everywhere, and all the fans around, they just don't care. There are people that like him, that's fine. I'm not saying that he doesn't have some value, but the value that they see in him is just way, 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 way higher than his actual fucking value. He has driven off viewers. He is never going to be what they want him to be. He's barely what they need him to be. Competent. And he really thinks that, oh, he was made the scapegoat. Oh, you poor put upon little bitch. You were lucky to ever get in a wrestling ring. Because he was never that fucking good. He only really got the attention because his dad was a famous actor. Just, god damn it. Whatever. If Danielson wanted to do this, fine. It's just they really should have put their foot down and said, no, Danielson, we're going to give you somebody else. Whatever. That being said, there were a few other problems on the show, but a few good things. But yeah, they had between 2,000 2,500 people according to WrestleTix. Maybe they got to 3,000. I don't goddamn know, but that is so minute. And that crowd felt small, sounded small. I hope everybody that was there had a great time. But, Jesus. That audio was dicey. There was questionable audio throughout the goddamn program. Now, I don't know if it's on the Turner side, but AEW has had this more often than really any big wrestling company in the last couple years. I'm not talking about the pandemic, that kind of stuff, whatever. They really do need to fix this audio stuff. Get better equipment, get better production people, do something. Maybe run smaller buildings so you don't have to set stuff up like this. Anyway, it's fine. So, it is Death Rider Mox. He is back to being just a stone cold, well, he wishes he was stone cold. He wished he drew a fraction of the money. He's being paid a lot of money like Stone Cold was. But he arrives, he looks all stone-faced. They're doing shots of him in their empty seats on the goddamn floor. I can't help but harp. I can't. And Shivani's like, wait, I'm going to go talk to him. I'm going to go get a microphone and go talk to him. And one of the first things he says, how you doing, buddy? Everything okay? I like Shivani, but seriously? Anyway, Moxley told one of the biggest lies. I haven't been doing a lot of talking. I've been doing a lot of thinking about something. About some things that need to change. Some things that need to get done. And he calls out Darby Allin. We need to have a chat. And he's being all weird and mysterious and everything. And then he comes back to Shivani and says, oh, by the way, also, this is not your company anymore. And I had a buddy of mine that told me about this. And he said, oh, dear God, I know what they're going to do. I said, well, what? Because I don't care if I find out about, a few tidbits because I work, during Dynamite Live, mostly, usually. And he said, what if this means that Tony Khan struck a deal with Shane McMahon? And I'm like, oh, dear God, they actually would be stupid enough to do that. This would actually be worse than New Blood Millionaires Club storyline, or Dixie and Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff competing for power in TNA. If they did, I mean, maybe they didn't get shamed. Maybe this is just some red herring. But the fact that they went with Mox, who they usually don't try to make look stupid because he can just do that on his own by bleeding and using a bunch of weapons when he doesn't need to. He actually can work. He just refuses to. But if they want to have Shane McMahon, oh, the name of the contract is the son of a promoter, but it's Shane McMahon. Watch them reference the whole thing where Tony Khan got beat down, all this stuff, and yeah, I was doing it this whole time, and pulls his string. If they actually do it where Shane McMahon comes in, that might actually drive more fans off than they think. Whatever. I want AEW to succeed, and I'm going to Wrestle Dream, and I'm going to order All Out, because I'm trying to order as many of their pay-per-views as possible. I've ordered every single one so far, and I have made things work, because I want to provide reviews, and I want to see the good stuff. But I got to be perfectly honest, guys, by the end of the year, well, maybe not by the end of the year, but by early next year, if they don't have some kind of streaming deal or package deal for some of their pay-per-views, I may be having to do a few less of these, because it's getting really dicey with the weekly TV. Anyway, so Renee is with the conglomeration and Hook and Willow. What are they doing to Mark Briscoe? What did Mark Briscoe ever do to deserve this? Hangman TA took on Tomohiro Ishii. Okay. Ishii 5 years ago, maybe even, Ishii about 5 years ago would have, meant a whole lot more to this particular, equation, this company. He still can pull off a few decent moves. He did hit a nice superplex, but they are trying with Hangman, and I'm sorry, I don't buy it. He is trying to convince himself. Now, maybe he wants to go home and be a family man. I wouldn't blame him, honestly. Wants to raise his children along with his wife, good. Apparently, they welcomed a second child into the world, and you know what? Good for them. But a DDT on the apron, and this is after numerous chops and forearms and everything, and if you just cut some of this stuff out and just, have a slugfest and get it done in half the time. They could have had a couple squash matches. They could have had another match for the women, more on that in a bit, and just done some different things. You don't need to have a 4-match, 2-hour show with talking segments. So, that being said, Superplex, we go through 2 breaks. It's not the only match that got 2 breaks. Eventually, we got a bad Deadeye by Ishii. We got another one by Hangman, and then we got a buckshot. 1, 2, 3. And 16 minutes. Here's Swerve with a mic, and then Swerve... I'm not going to go through every single thing here because, quite frankly, I got, PTSD being reminded of the bullshit they did at Full Gear. And I love what they did at Wrestle Dream. That was a great atmosphere. It was great to be part of that. What they did at Full Gear was an abomination. I stand by that. I like Swerve. And Hangman can work, but he has to be led because he's never going to be above a certain level no matter how hard they try to push him. So... Swerve says, I feel sorry for you. You were going to be this type of family man or whatever. Hangman shouts, piece of shit, no bleep. He's trying to convince himself, and it's not working. You can't beat me on your own. Hangman says, that's not really necessarily the ringing endorsement of your abilities that you think it is. I mean, yeah, Hangman might feel he's in the right, but you can't beat me on your own. He still couldn't beat him in the 3-way that they had with Samoa Joe. He couldn't do it. And he took time off because I guess his kid. Whatever. So, they're going to have a match at All Out, a steel cage match. Swerve brings up going to Hangman's house, seeing them pack up to have, for his wife to go to the hospital for their second child. You can't win anything because you're too focused on me. You couldn't win the Owen. You let your team down blood guts. All that. This went a bit. Go home and be a family man was essentially it. So that's really about the gist of it. It wasn't bad in parts, but the stuff with Hangman I'm just not buying. What I'm also not buying is Harley Cameron as a wrestler. Now, yes, everybody has to start somewhere. I don't necessarily know if this is going to work, and Saraya is absolutely useless. Nice comment that she made, at the media scrum. Check for the audio. You know what I'm talking about. She basically channeled Ronnie Radke. She decided to channel her piece of shit, transphobic, bigoted, piece of shit boyfriend. Good job. I don't care if you're they, that, yeah, you obviously do, or otherwise you wouldn't fucking say it. If people living as they are bothers you that goddamn much, yeah, it kind of is. Maybe go get another, bit of plastic surgery, so hey, you might feel a little bit better there. You might not look like you're 62 trying to be 32. She's actually 32, but she really does look more like a duck-billed platypus. And I used to like her, but she has totally turned off a lot of people because she really is just a rancid human being. Jamie Hayter was Harley Cameron's opponent. Great to see Jamie Hayter back. Her front ain't bad either. Hey-oh, no, I'm glad that Jamie Hayter's back. But she should have beaten the shit out of Harley. Harley should have gotten in a little bit. I'm sorry, but she got in too much. I mean, I get the point, but it just didn't work. She had 3 backbreakers and then hit the Haterade Lariat. 1, 2, 3. Jamie does look great. Saraya ran. Good. Run all the way out of the company. She has gotten paid more by Tony Khan to do less. And I don't care if she actually wants to wrestle. She can't fucking wrestle anymore. She can't do anything. She can't take an impact on her back or her neck. She can't do it. She could barely do that when she was healthy. Renee is with Jericho's group and Roddy. And then they recap MJF and Austin. I'm not going to listen to anything Jericho says at this point unless, it's his death rattle or he admits where his wife was on January 6, 2021. Are you out of your mind? So the MJF Ospreay stuff and Garcia coming back. And here's MJF favoring his neck. We get shut the fuck up chance. He promises to go out and beat up everybody in the crowd. I denounce the U.S. I denounce his country. I denounce my citizenship. Except for Plainview, Long Island, New York. I hate to say this, but that is still in the U.S. I know geography is a little bit rough for some people. I'm sick of all of you. Where were all of you when I needed you? This company, talking about a circus. Speaking of, without MJF, this company is a circus. We saw what it was like without him. I'm not saying that he's the absolute, biggest game changer, but he's one of them. He is somebody they desperately needed. I think he did come back from injury too soon. So, basically, Will is, going to be his next target. He says it's not over. You're going to get this close to winning the world championship, and I'm going to cut you off at the knees with a smile on my face. That's a good line. Then he talks about Garcia, who immediately blindsides him. He must have been hiding under the ring. He could have been hiding in the crowd because there were a lot of empty seats. He also kind of looks like one of the fans. But I digress. He showed up in no do. He is just beating the absolute shit out of MJF. Gets the guillotine choke on him. And he immediately goes limp. Oh my God, Richard Belzer. Well, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But if you get it, you get it. So, Garcia attempts a pile driver off the rope. Security stops him, so he pickles security, beats them up. MJF then attacks, but he gets stopped. We get another tease of a pile driver. Daniels and others stop that. And Garcia was fired up here and got off a few decent lines, but also I think was just really snarling a little too much. But my mother had to see me carried out on a stretcher or whatever, and that's bad. That's bad. You know what's bad? The audio on this show. You know what's bad? AEW programming when they don't decide to fire on at least a couple cylinders. And if I'm going to knock WWE for having bland programming with 1 or 2 good segments, then I have to do the same for AEW. But he says, I'm going to ruin your life. It's my fetish. Get a new fetish. What is wrong with you? But I'm not going to stop till I break your neck. They said the same thing to David Carradine, and he said, I'm into that. So, okay, they actually built this pretty well. I'll say this. I'm looking forward to it to see if Garcia can actually be serious. Not do the dance thing and be serious. I also don't know if he has signed a contract or not. It's his business. If he wants to stay in AEW, fine. If he wants to take a chance in NXT, fine. Whatever people want to do, fans should be happy. Bottom line. And then we get Hook, Orange Cassidy, Briscoe, and O'Reilly against Jericho, Big Bill, Brian, Keith, the Midget, and also Roddy. Brian Keith literally looks like he wouldn't even fit on a goddamn pony. Doesn't even look like he could stand up on, or, get up on a goddamn pony if the pony was sitting on the ground and the pony was comatose. I just don't get it with Brian Keith. Maybe it's because I'm just annoyed with everything Jericho does. Jericho's washed. They cheered Bill for some reason. 2 breaks, and Hook tapped out Roddy despite Roddy's foot being on the ropes or near the ropes. And Roddy was probably just like, I'm going to get on the ropes, and maybe I'm just going to, I don't know, just sit here on these goddamn ropes. And Adam, remember when Roddy and O'Reilly and others could have meant something? Oh, wait, they're broken down from their time in Ring of Honor. Adam Cole, same thing. So, yeah, there we go. That's all I gotta say right there. So, Bennett and Taven attack Hook. We get a 3-on-1 thing there. The FTW Championship means nothing. Security is fighting off Jericho, or trying to separate Jericho's group and everybody else. The conglomeration, the coagulation. Mercedes is back there doing a party. Good for her. This is an expensive piece of talent that Tony Khan brought in. More money than she definitely deserves. I'm sorry, but this is not fucking working. Private Party and Okada were there. Speaking of high-priced talent, they, could have done something with Private Party by this point. They're pretty much washed. And Okada. I don't even want to see Okada. I don't even want to see him wrestle. They have made me not care about Okada. If he's having fun and cashing his checks and doing whatever and preserving his body, I'm all for it. He doesn't need to go on and put 5-star classics. But if he's just going to act like a little goof and not take this shit seriously, then why should I? So, the grizzled young veterans are soon to be rectimized against the Bucks. And by the way, they confronted each other at All In last Sunday. And then they pitched to another pre-tape from tonight. They pitched from one pre-tape to another. Who booked this? Oh, Tony Khan did. That's right. Who formatted this? Oh, right, Tony Khan did. So, Takesha's been in New Japan. Takesha might as well stay in New Japan because I saw enough of his G1 stuff. I decided to go watch it. I haven't reviewed the G1 because I had to put up with Gabriel Kidd, House of Torture, and other Bullet Club stuff, so why? But Takesha did some good shit. Takesha probably should try to maybe, answer a call from a certain Orlando number. Because if his contract's up, he might actually benefit from going elsewhere. Because they don't know. I'm not a fan of DDT Pro, but he has something he does, and he needs to be utilized properly. Or at least utilized more on a big stage. So he's returning on Rampage, which right there, you had matches go twice as long as they needed to. Takeshita, get out there and beat the Outrunners in a 2-on-1 match. Nothing against the Outrunners, I'm just saying do something. Beat Silver of the Dark Order in 3 minutes. So anyway, then Out of This World, Ricochet, that's what the graphic said for his entrance, took on Kyle Fletcher, who for some reason is dressed up like some kind of weird, I don't know, robo-vampire character. If you get that, you get that. Callis joined commentary. Ricochet can do all the kicks and flips he wants. You know what? If he's happy, whatever. WWE had him for a number of years. He wants to apply his trade elsewhere. I don't blame him. He won after a reverse DDT Falcon Arrow thing he calls Vertigo. This show has given me vertigo. It needed to be Madeline for a while. That was a terrible Jimmy Stewart impression. I'm also very certain that nobody gets that. And then here's Will Ospreay. Oh my God, it's going to be Ospreay versus Ricochet, and then Pac does a Poison Rana on the goddamn stage and says, Ricochet, let me welcome you to AEW. He's mine, and there you are. Because Pac has a International Incident Championship shot at All Out. Okay, we're probably going to get Ospreay versus Ricochet at, probably Wrestle Dream. That's going to excite the crowd, even if it's only going to be maybe a half-full building. I'm sorry to go back to that, but the Tacoma Dome holds 21,000. And even if you take out the obstructed seats for the stage and everything, if you can't at least put 10 to 15,000 in there, you probably shouldn't be running a dome. We also don't have a lot of great arenas here. We definitely have stadiums. We just don't have stadiums that you want to use in October. So, here's Moxley is talking to some weird guy that I thought was Charlie Dempsey, malnourished, and a lot of malnourished talk on the show. And then suddenly, he's talking about what we need around here. And then suddenly, some woman with red hair attacks the security guard and attacks another security guard. And then this one security guard shows up and says, nah, and then leaves because we have to ha-ha it up. It's Marina Shafir, but we still don't know her. I'm never going to forget that promo because it was a terrible promo. And, okay, is Moxley in the BCC? Not that it matters. Is he in the BCC? Are we getting a new BCC? Are we getting BCC black and white and BCC, Wolfpack? Does it matter? No. Moxley and Shafir? Whatever. This is all going to lead to Shane McMahon doing stuff for some reason. I don't get it. I don't get it. 3 minutes left and Danielson shows up. He talks about being grateful, thanks to fans. The fans are like, you deserve it. All this. Talks about his family. His daughter was very happy. Of course, she went on some Peppa Pig bus ride thing. Whatever that is. I don't know what the fuck Peppa Pig is. And then says, it's like, my contract's up. I am the champion. And maybe I should go home. But nope, my retirement is not yet. But when I lose the championship, I will retire full time. Okay, fair. Who's next? And then Goldberg comes out. No, I'm kidding. Oh, God, Goldberg versus Danielson. Yeah, you want to send Danielson to early retirement. Have Goldberg come out for no reason. And win the AEW title. You know who wouldn't, who would do better with the AEW title? Bret Hart. You know who Bret Hart doesn't like? Bill Goldberg. That being said, suddenly Jack Perry's on the screen, and it was all a ruse. He was talking about, oh, you didn't want me back, Brian. Don't piss off the biggest draw in the goddamn company and then get choked out and then act like a little bitch. Yeah, Punk needed to go. I'm not saying he didn't, but Jack Perry didn't do himself any favors. And then he attacked him from behind. Really? Just fucking really? I'm still going to order All Out, but if they think that, Danielson versus Jack Perry is a money match, whatever. It's fine. Whatever. I don't care. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. Tony Khan is going to pay for his crimes against professional wrestling. He's done good shit, but god damn it, he just can't stay out of his own ways. Thanks, guys. See you soon.